And we're going to work on a favorite part of grappling. I just love doing this. I love exerting control and showing, being able to control an opponent. And this is in Newaza ground fighting. There's so many ways you can do it. It's just a lot of fun. And I think this is, to me, we have a lot of big techniques in judo, sambo, jiu-jitsu. But what we're going to do tonight is kind of the mortar or the glue that holds stuff together. Like, say you're building a brick house. Well, this is the mortar in between the bricks. This is the stuff that holds it together and makes it strong and makes it work. Kind of a goofy analogy probably, but it's really true, okay? And there are a lot of real basics here we're going to work on tonight. Really, really important about movement, controlling his movement too. So I'm going to really spend some time. What the focus tonight is from a neutral position when both of you are on your knees, and Derek's going to want to get behind Steve and control. And we're going to work that on a breakdown, basic breakdown. Derek's going to talk about getting the hooks in and stuff like that. But that's what we're going to work on tonight. So can I get you guys down? And you can see a lot of times when you're grappling, you'll be up in a neutral kneeling position facing your opponent. Okay? So let's look at some real basics here. See, he's on his toes. He's not flat. Go flat footed. You don't want to be like that because one, you can't generate any power from there, and you don't have mobility. You've got to be able to be on your toes so you can be mobile. So there he is like that. So you can walk around on your knees basically. Okay, so that's what you're both doing. And when you're up, good posture up. Good. Don't look up just like hands up like that. And you just be up like this. Be grappling like this. Okay. So these are good positions here. This is a standard neutral position that we see a lot. So what Derek wants to do, he wants to get the edge on Steve, okay? So what he's going to do is, he's going to do a head and arm. Which side are you going to go? You're going to do? I'm going to go right here. You're going to hook that side, so you're going to come around the side. Why don't you, for the camera, why don't you come around the middle? Okay. All right, so if Derek's going to hook with his hand on Steve's head, he's going to meat hook it here, right? Remember, just like a big meat hook, all right? And what he's going to do, he's going to grab this elbow, and he's going to use them both, because what he's going to do, he's going to snap Steve's head down to the mat, and see how he continues to push. And then he's going to keep pushing his head down to control it. That's good head control. This is what we call hand fighting, guys. Using your hands to manipulate your opponent. You've got a lot of ways to do hand fighting, and we're showing it right now. So he's manipulating there. Now with this hand, he's pushed it down, and what he's going to do is he's going to shove his elbow in, and then he's going to move around to that side quickly and get position, because he wants to get behind Steve, okay? Okay, I'll have him do that fast. And watch just that natural speed, and he catches it, okay? So we're going to talk about how to catch that ride momentarily, but we're going to go right to a breakdown from here. Okay, so he's going to snap him down, get this side, and he's going to do a forearm near leg, okay? Why don't you kind of aim here, kind of. Stay there and just come for this concussion. Yeah, come for this. So what we're going to do is he's going to snap him down, and when he does that, he hops to the side. See how he does the forearm near leg. That's a good basic skill to go into. Remember, just because it's basic doesn't mean it's just for beginners. It really works on all levels. Okay. So let's look at that again. So he snaps it down, pushes to the side, catches the forearm, catches the near leg, breaks it down. That's a good way. That's a good thing to start with. We're going to work on catching a ride, getting the hooks in. We're going to take it a little further. But the purpose of all this is to take him from a stable to an unstable position. That's what Derek wants to do. See how he basically broke Steve down from a nice, stable, upright position, put him on his face, kept driving his face in the mat with that hand on the back of the head, and he used the other hand to kind of go behind. Show how you kind of go behind that elbow. Watch what he does here with this. He does this is great. Now look at his elbow here. See how that? He just pushes it in and he moves around to the side. And then he's got his position. You go for a breakdown, whatever he wants to do, but he's behind you. Now that's a real basic way to do it, but I'll tell you what, it's a real good rate of success. It really does work a lot. And again, the basics work a lot on all levels of competition. So one more time, just snap down, look to the side, he does forearm near leg. Okay? We're going to work on, we could take that more steps in a moment here. All right, let's work on that. Okay.
the most important part about this is the head control, everybody. So I didn't wrestle. Like I had one match in PE before I started doing this, so it took me a while to kind of figure it out. So I had to really focus on the fundamentals of it. And I've been lucky to have Steve and guys like Chris Hecadon and some of the other guys that actually did wrestle and blended it well with their judo, their jiu-jitsu that helped me. So the one thing I don't want to do when I get the snap down is let his head up again, because then when I start doing this, he just either pops up, or more likely than not, his arm comes up and catches my hip, and then now I'm stuck. Okay, I can't continue the go around, and he'll grab a leg and put me right back down again. Okay? Even worse, if he's actually good at wrestling, I snap him down, let him up, and he shoots right in on me, and then he's passed. Okay? So I don't want to turn a dominant position into a bad position. And you get around that by controlling his head. The easiest way to do it from what we were doing before, I'm going to show 2 ways. The first one is just as it snaps, okay, right after about halfway, I'm going to switch my grip, okay? So instead of like, boom, and then switch my hand, okay? Right about here, you can tell when the guy's going to hit the mat, okay? The momentum will carry him through. So you snap, boom, catch. Push his head back down into the mat, okay? Pop that elbow in. Now, when he tries to get that arm out to hit me, I'm already past him. So he can't catch me with the hook, and he can't follow me with his head because I'm pushing his head down. Okay, the one thing I don't want, again, is him doing either one of those. So I move this way, he follows me, okay? I move this way, he keeps me from even doing that by hooking, right? So as soon as I snap, pop, halfway down, we switch our hand there, pop that elbow in, okay? And then we push off the head, okay? So you push off as you're moving around, and that way, now I'm here before he actually has time to react. If I let go of the head and move, he might be fast and still get me as I'm going around, okay? So, okay, snap, boom, okay? I'm done. Snap, boom. Your hand switches once you feel the momentum carrying him down. Chop his elbow in, push off the head, and go around. Okay? The last thing you'll notice is that I'm always chest to back when I start pivoting. That also gives me the ability to keep him from following. Okay? If I'm too high, even doing this, that space that he can now start turning in, and I've lost the breakdown, and I've lost my back right, and I have to like really break the guy back down again, you know, chop back in there. It's a lot of extra work to have to do. So you put your weight on his shoulder blades or back, boom, okay? Back around. As soon as we're through here, right about this point, he's gonna keep going because I pulled him. So the momentum is gonna carry him further down, okay? That's when my hand switches and you push his head all the way down. Okay, it's important that my knuckles are that way, opposite the way I'm going to go around, because that gives me something to push off of. If I kept my hand this way and I came around, I'll see how my arm is running into it. Okay, I want that there so that as I chop this arm in, okay, and then I put my shoulder and my chest on his shoulder blades are back, I can push off that head, and then I let go, and I'm already here. That's how you keep the guy from turning and following you or catching your leg as you're going through. Okay, so one more time through, snap, change your grip, chop, pivot around. Okay, so that's the fundamentals of the move, is controlling the head, keeping the head down, blocking the elbow or by chopping it in so that we can get around. Okay? But we can shave some of those rough corners off and make it a little bit easier without really giving up our control. We don't want to not control the head, okay? We don't want to not put our pressure on him or rotate around. So where we can kind of shave that rough corner off is how we control the elbow, okay? So right now it's 2 steps. Snap, shift your arm, chop, and then push off and move. All right? So let's make that a little bit smoother, okay? And it also helps get your shoulder in there and get the weight on him if you're having a little bit more issue with that. All right, so as I snap, boom, okay? Instead of keeping this here and pivoting off, what I'm gonna do is lead with it now. So I still snapped him down, but I'm gonna swim my arm through. And this has two reasons for it. First part is that it puts my shoulder on him, so it puts weight on him, and it cuts the corner. So now I don't have to chop his elbow in. His elbow can be way out there, okay? I'm not gonna let him do that because when I come around, it'll hurt his elbow, but I could still get around it if I wanted to. Whereas before I had to chop this in to get around my shoulder, slide the arm through right there, and then we're back around. You can also see that it got me into this back corner, which is where I want to be to actually ride. Okay? And it naturally, as I'm riding through, it's going to come back around here and get the first part of my ride. Boom. Catch that lapel. You see how it just went right in there? And your far leg can catch his knee, or the inside of his thigh. Okay? And then normally, I'm chopping this in here, and I'm bringing my other knee and controlling his back part without sticking it in between. I don't want him rolling through for a knee bar. So if I stick it up the middle in the traditional wrestler's ride, Steve here is it down, he's going to roll through a knee bar. Okay? Now if I stick my knee through here, but you can see that my foot is still on the other side, I can block him from running backwards and still control the far hip and the shoulder, which gives me good control. Go ahead and move around a little bit. Okay? He's making big moves and I'm making little small moves. And I'm ready to just hook and go right into whatever I need to from there. And that's the real beauty of riding, is that you get behind him so he can't see what you're doing, and then you can take his back whenever you want. It's a control thing. If you can't get the hooks in immediately, get the ride, because he still can't see what you're doing, and then put your hooks back in when you're able to. All right? So let's do that again from the get-go. Snap, switch your hand, swim across, and then start rolling around. Comes right in and catches that inside lapel, under the armpit, knees in the butt, foot by his ankle, okay? Other knee's right next to his knee. Right? If he moves around, keep the ride. Okay? When you're ready to, you pop up, hook, hook. Alright? One more time through. Okay, good. Alright, let's give it a shot. On both sides of this, you can see all the little pieces, because if it's a good ride, you've got control on both sides of the body, so you can't see all the action on just one. So the first thing is going to just turn around. Okay, so just a basic ride, okay? So the first hand is going to come under the armpit, get into his armpit. Don't just like reach in the hole and grab something, because then it's loose. So if it's loose, he can move his shoulders. The idea here is I want to lock down one of his shoulders so that he has a hard time rolling out of it or getting out of whatever I'm going to do, okay? Four corner theory, okay? 2 shoulders, 2 hips, you control 2 of those and you get somewhere, okay? Same idea here. I'm going to start by controlling as high up on the lapel as I can underneath his armpit, grab a hold of that lapel.
Can you have Steve stand up or sit up?
Steve right here, okay, you go up under his armpit, grab his lapel, okay? Right there like that, okay? Pull it down and in and flare your elbow just a little tiny bit so that his elbow is out of the way and you're starting to get that shoulder crank, okay? You're not trying to hurt him, you're trying to keep him in place and keep him from turning. Try and turn, okay? He can turn this way, which is great because then I can half him over. If he tries turning that way, okay, that's about as far as he gets, all right? The next part is we're going to control in a diagonal down here, okay? So you're gonna spiral right on the inside of his thigh so that I can control this corner.
Steve, can you lift your left arm so we can see that? No, your left arm. There you go.
Right through here like this, okay? So I'm not grabbing his knee, I'm not grabbing his crotch, I'm coming around and I'm spiraling around the outside of the thigh down towards the back of his knee. Okay, so go ahead and go down on all fours. Okay? So, each of these two, besides controlling him, plays an important part in getting your hooks in. Alright? So, if he gets super defensive after I've got a hold of these, he just balls up into a turtle. Okay, you're like, I can't get my hooks in, he's just sitting here. I can't roll him over, he's just sitting here. Okay? Well, I can pry him open now. I'm going to wedge my elbow this way, and I'm going to pry out the spiral that way. Hook, hook. Flatten him out. Okay? He gets super, super defensive and gets his elbows inside of his knees. Okay? Then I'm going to use my knee, boom, pry that open, pry that out, hook, hook. The spiral is great for getting a guy's hips open so you can put a hook in.
We stole this from wrestling. This is a standard wrestling move, spiral right. We've adapted it. We've adapted it where we're using gis and jackets and pants and belts.
Normally you would see, like there was I think it was like 5 years ago, everybody at the NCAAs was doing a spiral ride and a hook. So, or I think they call it a claw. Okay, so they come up here like this and they catch you, and you still see it a lot, which is great, but we've got handhelds over here that are just as easy to get to, that we don't have to grab all the way over here, okay? So we can catch this and modify it a little bit and use those tools that we have open to us to make this easier, all right?
Can everybody see how Derek with his right hand is controlling Steve's right shoulder? So that's one corner, okay? And that's the high corner. Now the low corner is with his left hand on the spiral ride is, see how he's controlling the low left corner? It's his left hip and leg. So he's got different corners and different control. And this way, Derek establishes good controlling position. He's got good position. He's in charge, and he can continue to improve his position from here. He'll keep improving and making life really suck for Steve and better for him, better for Derek.
There's all kinds of fun things that we can do from here, from just getting the rodeo ride. I can flatten him all the way out, okay? I can roll him in, okay? His back that way, okay? Roll them over that way. Lots and lots of fun things. So once you get used to it, it becomes a very versatile position to attack from. It's incremental control to get you into that control position that's dominant, like a chest pin or back control, okay? Or a breakdown so that you can get on top of them. All right, so think of it as you're on your way to something really good and he stops you through movement or through control, and you can't quite get there. You were spinning around to put your hooks in, he stops you, fine. Collapse back into the wrestler's ride. Work them over until you can open them up enough to get those hooks in. Work them over enough to where you can break them down and get them into a pin.
Here's a little drill let's do, guys. Could you set him up? You get a spiral right on him. Now watch, Derek's going to get, and Steve's let him do it. Now, we'll just practice, you know, and we could do it under timed or whatever. You could just practice here with yourself. And Steve's going to give, like, you know, maybe 30, 40, 50% effort, you know, not real hard, just so Derek can get good at the move and continuing the ride. So just go ahead and work around Steve and let Derek, and Derek's just going to keep working on the ride and control, you know. And at some point, Derek may say, okay, I'm going to break you down, I'm going to get my hooks in, whatever it is, and then I can go and do that. And then Steve would have his turn. So those are just good ways to practice the ride, because it is a ride. You're controlling him, you're controlling his movements, why we call it a ride, kind of like riding a bronco. You know, you are riding him and keeping him under control. Okay? All right, let's work on the spiral ride.
All right, let's get